Can you hear me?
Yep.
I think I need another earphone because I'm hearing this tapping noise in my ear. Are you hearing that?
No.
Okay. We're not recording on. Oh,
we definitely are.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, boo.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm in such a totally different mood than I was last week. Like last week when we were doing this, we were both sick and I was in just a generally badass mood. But today, I feel like Jill Scott's Golden has been playing all day. I've been walking down the street. I don't know what it is because I'm still dickless. My nigga's gone. But, I'm feel happy. How are you, boo?
I'm still sick. Hey, it's a week plus later, and here I am. My cold is playing peekaboo because I was feeling horrible the last time we were talking, and then I started feeling better for a little bit, and then it came back and was like, "Gotcha, bitch, I'm back." So, yeah, I'm still hanging
My
on.
nose is still a little stuffy. Like I still have some stuff to blow out.
False.
I don't know. Yeah, that's false. Okay, I didn't know if it was. I was like, ooh, blow.
I got you on the
All
pulse
right.
meter.
Yeah, but I mean, otherwise I feel fine. So
yeah, I still got the stuffy nose, the congestion, stuffy runny nose combo now. At first it was just stuffy nose, but now, hey, here comes the 1-2 punch. And still the head congestion, but the sore throat is gone, so I'm happy about that. So it's like progression, but I'm just over it. I got my 1-2 buddies with me, the day court and the night court, and hopefully them two together will get it the fuck up out of here.
My nigga, what would we do without them? It's either those two or Mucinex. Always.
I keep hearing about Mucinex is good, and I have never bought any. But I need to try it because they said Mucinex is good. And they said to load up on vitamin C, which I haven't done.
Yes, my coworker was telling me that she takes vitamin C, and then after that, turn my notifications down. The iMac is loud.
That's trying to say you.
No, ma'am. But yeah, my coworker said she takes vitamin C, and the next day her cold is gone. So I was like, "Oh, a bitch need to take some Flintstone gummies."
For sure, I need to. My mom has been telling me for years, take your vitamins. I'm like, all right, and here I am, sick.
Mara definitely takes her Flintstones every day.
That's good.
We need to do better. So, I mean, as a parent, I guess I'm good, but as a person,
we're looking out for our kids, but we just like fuck ourselves out here. Pause.
I mean, yeah,
that sounds bad.
Yeah. No pause for me. Again, my nigga's not here. So
once again, I said what I said.
So, practicing family values, because I mean, we talked about it last week. So
let's pick it up. Did
you see it?
I did, honey, and Ayala helped me get my life because look. But I feel like somebody like her would be the only one that could handle them because like all of them have really strong personalities and they're extra and they've been tucking in their secrets for years. So I feel like they can bullshit a lot of counselors, hence why they've been going to therapy all these times and they're still back at square one.
I'm glad you brought that up because, we have a little post on our page at the Chatty Pattys on Instagram.
For sure.
In case y'all wondering.
Check it out.
But some people were just like, I'm glad they got into therapy. And I was like, they've been in therapy before because they had that one joint
on the show.
Yeah, they used to be in there all the time. So, they're not new to this. But, honey, I like this because Iyanla was getting Miss E together. Look,
she came in a joint with an attitude like,
yes,
I don't know why I'm here. Like, why do I have to be dragged into this? Which I actually understand where Iyanla was coming from. Like, she said, you got to get the head of the fish. She said, ain't no fish here. I'm clean. She was, She said, well, what I mean by fish is, look.
Like, girl, nobody talking about your little cooch.
She was so sensitive that even the daughters were saying, like, Mom, just say yes. Like, you being extra at this point. Like, but I know that they try really hard, and they were even kind of touching on, like, they watch what they say and how they say stuff because they want to respect and not hurt their mother's feelings. So a lot of them probably wanted to tell their mom shut the hell up from the get-go and just be like, look, obviously you want us to see us patch stuff up or you wouldn't be here. So like, stop being extra and just say yes, you're committed to stay. She's talking about, so I'm gonna wait to see how I feel. Girl, if your ex-husband is there, then you can commit, okay?
And so here's the thing with Miss E. I definitely can understand the bitterness about the whole situation. Like, wasn't pause, because I hear the ice.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell y'all.
Disclaimer.
Ain't no disclaimer. When y'all hear a Lil Wayne song, he lights up his lighter, y'all gonna hear ice. Because every week we drink. Okay?
We do. I do. Especially, and I'm not feeling well. Look.
And let me see. Hold on, where y'all? All right.
That's for y'all.
So, this will be the only disclaimer moving forward.
Right.
If you hear ice, it's because
it's not a technical difficulty. It is our cups. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyhow, because I am not about to be every week like, oh, I apologize, y'all. No, we drink.
Right.
So there's that. We got kids and we work.
Whole lives.
We got husbands.
Whole lives.
We got friends.
Look, and jobs. Yeah, we say you work. Yeah, everything.
Yes.
We need that.
Okay. So I get Miss E. Why Miss E would not be fucking with Mr. Braxton. Because I think he was a pastor, or he definitely was somebody in the church.
Like a pastor or a minister or something like that.
He was something. And the lady that he's with, from my understanding, was all up in her house and at the little church functions and in her face and was sleeping with her husband. I get it. But it's been a smooth, like, a couple of decades.
So all good children are 40 and up.
I mean,
look.
Yeah.
It's time.
I mean, the youngest is 40.
Look, so I'm saying, I'm not saying like you got to forgive him, but like you can't be that bitter. Like y'all have been around each other in certain situations, and I feel her like on that episode where they was on vacation. She ain't necessarily want to be with her and him.
Right, I get that.
But like, dog, like if you're addressing your kids and you're trying to bring their quote unquote sister, and you so mad about how their relationship has deteriorated, and you salty because you sit in a room with them and your ex-husband. So I don't know if it was because he was there or she felt a certain kind of way, because it felt like she felt the tension towards Ayanna.
Yeah, no, I feel like she just felt some kind of way. And you know what it was? I think what it is remember the episode on Ayanna's show with Trina? Ayanna was talking about her on that show, because she was saying, I think that your issues stem from your mother.
So
and
you know
Miss
what?
E probably saw it and then came in there with that energy like, bitch, you got me fucked up.
Look, I didn't even think about that. She sure the hell did. So she already was not here for her.
Right.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
And I love Miss E, but I do feel like she's extra bitter and extra petty. Like, yeah. I think it's time to get over it. And not get over it like you want to do family dinners with this bitch. I wouldn't want to do no family dinners with her, she didn't even like, listen, y'all seen the goddamn show. Y'all know how Miss E gets busy.
Yeah.
Like, she's a little petty, and this next episode I'm here for, because Ayanna was not here for that shit. Like, we could have 3 episodes of this, and Ayanna was like, no, y'all thought y'all was gonna have me waiting, and a bitch is booked and busy. I'm going home. She carried
them, and I love it, because I feel like she has it to set everybody straight. Miss Evelyn, Tamar, Tony, all of them. She was setting all of them straight. Like, no. Y'all told me to be here at this time. Y'all was late for that. Came back. I ate lunch in my damn car, and here y'all are just being served. Like, nah, I'm out. Like, which I get, because they were supposed to start at 11 and get breakfast. At this point,
like
4, and they still, Tony in the car taking a conference call.
Nope.
Like, ma'am, what are y'all doing? I'm sure y'all knew that y'all had to block these days off. Like,
I just want to point out that Ayanna is a Virgo, because y'all know.
So that means like y'all are direct and rude and to the point. And
I don't feel like that bitch was rude. They was rude. What you mean?
They was rude as hell. But I'm just saying, Ayanna wasn't here for their fuck
She
shit.
just met their energy. And you know, we're gonna have an episode about that, because I don't feel like I'm rude. I just be out here meeting y'all hoes energy. But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
That's definitely a good topic. Meeting hoes energy.
How about that?
But yeah, that episode was definitely good.
And
Can't
this
wait till
week is
next
going to
week.
be even better because, like I told you last week, Tamar's not here for Eonless. So she must have said something that basically she probably told her about herself. You know, some people don't like to hear about themselves.
But I feel like all of them need to be told about themselves because some of them think they exempt. Like, so that's why I was happy that she got on her. She kind of got a little smart remark to Tony because I think sometimes because Tony's the superstar, she's the bigger sister, the biggest sister. She feel like she's untouchable. So she's just like, no, I'm not here for none of y'all shit. Like, if y'all want me to help y'all with y'all real issues, then we got to get all the way real. Like,
she's
take
not
this little
moved by
mask
the
off.
celebrity
No, at all. She like, look, I don't care about that. Because that's not fixing your damn issues. If you want me to fix your issues and you trust me to do that, then this is what it's going to be. And I'm here for it.
Tamar is a Pisces, and I don't know how much you know about Pisces.
I don't know any.
Oh, them motherfuckers do not like to hear about themselves. Shout out to my cousin. Love you, Bill.
Dog, with the amount of neck rolling that she was doing this episode, I was laughing. I said, this bitch is so extra. And she was like, that's what I'm saying. She was like, no, that's not what she's saying. I said, oh, shit.
Yeah, nah, she was mad as shit.
Hell yeah. She was about to get up and storm off. Even Miss Evelyn was like, you sit down and listen to what she got to say. I said,
right. Oh. Yeah.
That's wild. It's going to be good, though. Next episode.
So, topic this week. Let's get into it.
Yeah, we're on episode Nizan.
Yeah.
Trucking along. Oh, why you sound so sad? Oh.
Oh no, it's just like 9 as a number. I don't really care for that much.
You're into numerology as well?
I am actually. So, 9 is just not like one of my faves, but let's get it.
I mean, you was excited about 8. 7 is my favorite number, so I guess we passed the favorite numbers.
So 7 is Amara's favorite number because I made it her favorite number, but that's because the month she was born, the day she was born, the year she was born. Just like why 8 is my favorite number.
Ah, I get it. Yeah. The numbers and stuff. Check you out.
I can be putting our date of birth out there, PI and shit. Yeah. Security or whatever.
You don't need to know all that. But episode 9, our topic this week is Me Too.
Hashtag Me Too.
Yeah, sorry. Hashtag Me Too. My bad. Trying to be politically correct. Look, I guess another disclaimer. Please do not come for us. I feel like every episode I'm telling people not to come for us. Every time. Don't come for us. If maybe we don't say something the politically correct way, I mean well. And yeah, just know that. I mean well. So, yeah.
Okay. Where shall we start? Do we start with?
So I guess the first thing, just in case because maybe everybody doesn't even know what the hashtag Me Too movement is. Yes. So I was thinking maybe if we just break it down for what the hell is the Me Too movement and let people know what that is so that we can kind of start from there and discussing stuff that's going on, that sort of thing. So I know for me, when I was looking up what is the Me Too movement, because we all, I think, have our own personal idea of what we think the Me Too movement is by seeing the posts online on social media and then reading articles and stuff like that. But it's basically a movement against sexual harassment and sexual assault. The actual hashtag itself, the hashtag Me Too, went viral last year, October 2017, on social media to demonstrate the prevalence of sexual assault and harassment. But the actual movement, the whole Me Too movement itself, it's been going on for over a decade by an activist named Tarana Burke.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, a little tidbit of information. So
look at your Googling man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I gotta put the little facts out there so that people know, It ain't all about our opinions. We gotta throw a little bit of facts and stuff out there, But actually, when she first started it originally focused on young women of color and creating change within our culture of how to prevent, respond,
always
and to respond.
And they hijacked it, but I'll save that for another damn episode.
Exactly, but it basically started out for little brown girls on how to respond to sexual harassment and sexual violence. So that is the actual Me Too movement. What I also wanted to do is break up 3 little definitions of things that we'll be talking about during this episode so that there's no question on what we mean by what we're talking about. So when we say sexual harassment, the definition of sexual harassment is any kind of unwelcome...
Webster's?
I'm in here. Google Webster's. I'm the what's that? The encyclopedia? Like, I'm all of that. I got to get these facts out before we get into feelings. Facts, then feelings. So I'm getting in there. Pause. Sexual harassment. Any kind of unwelcomed, uninvited, verbal or physical behavior of a sexual nature. It can also be extended to offensive comments about a gender in general. Okay. Then sexual assault. Sexual assault is a criminal term that varies in definition basically from state to state because it depends on what your state laws are on what they deem as sexual assault. But in general, it involves some sort of sexual contact that an individual has not consented to. Then we go to what the hell is consent? And this is my last definition. I'm not trying to bore you, but I just need people to know.
No. Consent is it's just a tricky word right now.
And
so
that is, we're going to get into that, but like consent, the definition, the official definition. You have given a person, a consent is you have given a person permission to touch you or be in your personal space. And just because you give someone personal or permission to be in your personal space that day, it does not automatically transfer that you have that right tomorrow. So you have to actually give
word.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind, listeners.
It does not transfer over. So if today I'm like, yeah, you can touch me. If you come by tomorrow and I haven't gave you permission, no, you do not have, your consent does not transfer for a lifetime. So I just want to throw that out there. 3 big definitions when we're talking about the whole Me Too movement, dealing with sexual harassment, sexual assault, and consent, because those words are used a lot when speaking on this topic.
Do you remember when you first saw the hashtag Me Too?
Yeah, and I had no clue what the hell they were talking about.
Oh, so I saw it for the first time on Facebook, and it was a rack of females, women. Because, they don't like that word.
They don't like females? You can't say females?
No, ma'am.
That's not politically correct?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. Thanks for letting me know. Let me take a sip.
It was a lot of women I never knew that were sexually assaulted. The craziest thing was there was a lot of other women I knew that could have used the hashtag and they didn't. And so I posted something on my page that said, like, just because you don't see some women using this hashtag doesn't mean they haven't been sexually victimized or sexually assaulted.
Right.
But we don't owe y'all. Like, we don't have to tell y'all our story.
Right.
So I had to put that out there. And the people that I knew for sure had been sexually, like, assaulted or raped or whatever, they just hit the thumbs. Because, I mean, I don't want to start off pissing people off, but I do feel like sometimes people like to be trendy.
Yes.
And I want to be clear. I don't think that sexual assault is trendy. I don't think that rape is trendy.
It's nothing cute about it.
It's nothing cute about it. I just know that there are some people who are just like, they'll hashtag any goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever is in the spotlight at the moment, they're down with the cause, pretty much. Right. For the moment. But not really down for it.
Right. And I know other people that are like still sorting out the shit that happened to them from years ago now. And so they're not as open to share their stories. Right. So for me personally, I like the movement when it's sincere.
Yes.
But I realized that everybody feels differently about it.
For sure.
What about you, Boo?
So, on the whole topic, and this is such a touchy topic for me and my opinions about sexual assault and sexual harassment and all that sort of thing, because I am kind of on the fence when it comes to it, which is kind of weird. But I agree with you how some people just jump on a wave and they're just like, yo, this is what everybody's talking about now. Yeah, hashtag me too. And then it was at one point that I actually saw that people was like making jokes about it. So I think in the beginning, that's why I really wasn't knowing what the heck it was about. I saw people posting about the Me Too, especially when the Bill Cosby situation, when it first the allegations started coming on. So I was like, I don't know what this is about. And I really don't have the energy to dig too deep into it, especially when I'm seeing joke posts about it too So I'm just like, I have no clue. But over time, when more has been revealed, there's been more cases of different people in the millions. I have a whole list of different people who have allegations against them and who have been charged for stuff. And it's actually a very good movement, and I support it. But like you said, when it's sincere, if you truly and genuinely have been through something and are supportive of the movement, I get it. But like these fake feminists that want to pretend like they're behind women and women's rights and they're supporting women, like, I can't get with it.
We're starting early.
I'm sorry.
All right. I'm not going to get into that yet because
we got to take it slow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're still in the kumbaya mode.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, do I say it yet? So, Dice and I have different views on the topic. We've discussed it in our on our own personal time. So it's so funny when we were talking about the creation of the podcast, we actually brought up this topic, and I mean, I was just like, I just want to make sure the podcast is light and cute, because that one time we had that conversation about Bill Cosby, it got a little heated, and I don't even think you remembered it, but
I honestly didn't. I didn't remember the specifics of it, but I remember us like just agreeing to disagree type shit.
And that's what ended up happening. But I was like high key upset because
you was mad for real
because of our background. Yes. If we didn't have the background that we have, then I could understand, like, if someone hasn't. Okay, you know what our background is like. So, I mean, do I say it? Like,
go ahead.
I have been raped. I have been sexually assaulted. You?
Yes, I have been raped, and I also was molested. So I was molested when I was in elementary school, and then I was raped when I was in high school. So
#me too. Well, not high school for the rape. The sexually assaulted was in elementary school. The rape was actually in my 20s. But so it just, I remember being like, I could not understand like why our views were so different, considering that our
backgrounds were so similar.
Right. So I'm like, where do we start? Do we start with what happened to us, or do we just get into the nitty-gritty?
I guess we can start about what happened to us, just because even though we know, our listeners might not know, so I don't want them to be guessing on like, well, what are you talking about? So I guess, what you feel comfortable with talking about our background, and then we can kind of go with our views from there.
Okay. Me or you?
You can go first.
Okay. So I'm not even getting into the molestation, because I have family that listens, and I ain't trying to go there with family, and I'm not doing all that.
Right.
So actually, it's funny because my husband is the one that pointed out that I was raped in my 20s. I was telling him a story. We were eating. We had just come back from vacation, and I was telling him about, like, there was a period in my life when I was homeless, and I needed some, like, I was kind of couch surfing or whatever. So this dude that I had sex with, like, maybe 5 or 6 years before this incident happened or whatever, we had sex before, like 2 or 3 times or whatever, and we kind of remained cool. Like, we would, sometimes like hook up, not like fucking, but like hook up and like go to a bar or whatever.
Right, just link up.
That kind of shit. Yeah, link up, not hook up, link up. So I was telling him my situation, like, I was still in the process of saving up money to get into a new spot. So he was like, oh, I'm staying at my, definition of character. Let me make sure. Okay, so he was staying somewhere, and he told me I could come through. Boom, bam. I ain't trying to give out no specifics.
No, please don't.
Right. So he was in like a basement apartment type situation. So he had like a couch set up in one area of the basement, and then his bed was over to the right. And so when I went over there, when I got there, I was just like, okay, so you want me to sleep on the couch or on the bed? And I made it very clear from the beginning, like, we're not sharing the same sleeping space.
Right. So which one am I on?
Right. And he was like, oh, you can sleep on the bed. I'm going to take the couch. All right, bet. So we ended up going to Fridays, and y'all know Fridays be having the drink specials.
It's so lit. Their drinks are so good too.
Right. So we drank like we got it in, and so we got back to his place. I took a shower. I got in the bed. He got on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up in the middle of the night, and somebody's dick was inside of me, and they were fucking me.
Wow.
So I was like, Kurt, I spazzed. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And the nigga dead ass told me that I was responding. And I was like, how could I be responding to you if I'm asleep? Like, I didn't fucking ask you to fuck me. Like
what are you talking about?
I woke up and I'm confused as to even why you're in the bed, because you told me you were going to. Right. I ended up sleeping in my car that night because I was so like
violated.
Blown.
Right.
So like maybe 2 months later, he hit me up on Facebook and was just like trying to shoot the shit. And I was like, nigga,
are we really not casually conversing?
Right. I was like, we're not doing this. So he was like, I mean, why are you coming at me sideways? I was like, you don't remember what you did? Like, you fucking, and I never said the word rape. Because I'll get into why I probably didn't use the word rape. Okay, but I never used the word rape. I was just like, you fucking violated the fuck out of me. Like, what were you thinking? Because it was the first time I had spoken to him since then. And he was like, I mean, you coming at me like I raped you or something. And so...
Also, he brought up the word rape.
Exactly. So I blocked him, and that's the end of that. So when I was telling JT the story, he was just like, oh, so he raped you. And he said it so matter-of-factly. And I don't think it even hit me
that's what happened.
Because as for me, and for a lot of people that I know, I think when we think of the word rape, we think of like the stranger,
right,
dark alley or late at night that comes and they violate you. You don't really think it would be somebody that you know. But when I think about it, I know for sure that I made it very clear from the beginning, like, we're not fucking having sex. We haven't had sex in 5 or 6 years. Like, we're not on that level. We're just cool. Right. I thought we both made it clear that he was going to be sleeping on the couch. I would be sleeping on the bed. And then I'm fucking asleep, and I wake up and dick is inside me. I don't even know if this nigga has a condom on. Like,
that brings on whole layers of other stuff, like the other disrespect.
And for JT to just be like, oh, he raped you. And the way he said it, it was just like, yeah. I mean,
right.
Yes.
The fact that he knew automatically just hearing the story, but you going through it and you wasn't, you're like,
because prior to that incident, I knew this person personally and I thought that we were cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it brought me back to like, so in high school, I used to smoke. Right. A lot. And I remember once I skipped school and I was smoking at this dude's house because, you know, the niggas always had the weed. So that's what it would be.
Right.
And so I remember, like, no lie, we had smoke and I was laying down and I wasn't asleep. But the dude, like, came and he started rubbing on my thigh and I was just like, what's up? He was like, I mean, what? Nigga, I'm high. I'm not drunk. Like,
right.
I'm still all the way here.
I see you.
So it just took me back to that. Like, I don't. And then it made me think about, like, did he take me to Fridays to get drunk?
Just to get for that. You know what I mean?
It just made me think about so much stuff, like so many different things. But I hadn't felt violated in that way since I was a child when I was molested. So, like, while I didn't use the word rape, I definitely felt
the same feeling.
Right.
So
and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. And that's all I have to say about that. For me, I had two major incidents that kind of changed me or whatever, I guess you can say. One was when I was around elementary school age. It was over a period of time. My babysitter at the time that I had, because both of my parents had jobs. So I was younger, so they didn't leave me at home to go to school in elementary school. So it was an older lady, really nice older lady, and she was my babysitter. and they would drop me off early in the morning there, and then she would walk me to the corner, because like her house is like literally a couple blocks from my high school, so she would walk me to the corner till you get to the crossing guard, and I would walk to school from there, and vice versa. When in the evening my parents would pick me up from her house. So she had a grown son that would come and visit ever so often, and literally like he would molest me whenever he was there. Like it was a basement section where like a lot of times, because she will be watching her stories, and you do not play when she's watching her stories. You
I
take
had
your
a
butt
babysitter that was very much the same
so
way.
serious. Like, you not interrupting my stories. I don't care what y'all kids doing. Y'all either go outside, and if the weather's bad, it was like she had like a huge basement, and then it was like a little like washroom back area that had like a couch and the washer and dryer and stuff like that. So you either go outside and play during her stories, or you go down and have all the racket downstairs in the basement. Well, her adult son came, and like basically he would take me in the back washroom, and I don't know if the other kids knew what's going on or not. I don't even remember if like, no, I don't think it was happening to any other, because I was the only girl.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
but
that, you know what, it really doesn't mean anything. You're right. But I don't know if it was happening to any other kids or not. But I know that I would be taken in the washroom, and yeah, I was molested as a kid. And he said, which I know now but didn't know then, the textbook stuff that predators would say: you better not say nothing to nobody, like
Right.
I'll, you know, hurt your family, like you better not tell your parents, like this between me and you, blah blah. So like literally, what? How old am I now? I've never told my parents. Like I just, I don't know. How do you bring that up in conversation? Like,
I told my mom.
You did?
When I was 13.
How did she react?
She cried because I didn't tell her when it happened. But legit, I never felt comfortable putting my child in a babysitter's care, like daycare. Yeah. And nowadays I be looking at stories like daycare doesn't fucking matter either.
Look,
but
like
babysitters, I dead ass was just like, no, we're not doing that.
And I feel like that's why I have some of my fears of not necessarily the people who are watching my kids, but who you got in your home. Because like I said, my babysitter was lit. She was like everything. She was like the sweetest lady. And I know 100% she didn't know what was going on. Right. But it's like, it's not just who's watching your kid, it's who be up in there. Right. So I think that's why I'm like really, really skeptical about, like, you know how I am with like the play dates, like, well, where y'all going? Where you gonna be at? Can I come? Don't do that.
Real quick side story, y'all. Y'all wouldn't believe that my kid had a sleepover, and I invited her daughter over, and she legit did not leave until her daughter fell asleep. And her daughter was trying to be in this bitch, so she was trying to stay with the big girls.
But look,
and Dice did not leave until she fell asleep, and I was like, "Girl, you know you can leave, right?" She's, "It's okay." And I just was looking like, "Girl, you know my kid is like older than her, so I know how to handle kids." Like,
but it wasn't even that, and that was my first kid, so it was just all of that wrapped up into one. So
oh my God,
I was just extra as hell. I can see that I was extra. Okay. And my other instance was later on in life, or not later on in life, but it was in high school. I was actually raped in high school. It was an instance. It was after school. I was a freshman in high school, and it was like a group of us, maybe like I think like three. No, it's like four of us. We were smoking like out by this little seating area, like in between our school and, you know, this other place or whatever. And we were sitting around smoking, and it was my good girlfriend at the time, and she was like, "Yo, it's getting late. I gotta go." And I was like, "All right, bet I'll see you at school tomorrow." So it was a good girlfriend of mine, a really close male friend of mine that I've known since I was like elementary school age, and then like a dude that I didn't know, but I think they knew. So we were smoking. After a while, we was kicking it, just sitting there in this little area. And this is in a public, like this isn't anyone's house, this isn't anyone's portion. It's like literally like right by my high school. And so my male friend was like, "All right, well, I'm about to head home." I was like, "Yeah, I'm about to go home too." So he was like, "Are you good?" I was like, "I'm good." So I was about to walk home, and then the dude that was with us, he was like, "Well, which way do you walk home?" And I was like, "Well, I'll go this way." And he was like, "All right, well, I'll walk with you because I got to go that way anyway." And I was like, "All right, well, whatever. I don't care." You know, I wasn't thinking nothing. I'm just like, "All right." And then he was like, "Well," he's like, "Well, do you mind going this way or whatever?" because he had like a big baggie of weed. I'm assuming he used to sell drugs, no clue, but whatever. He was like, I need to put this back in my stash. I don't want to walk around with all this on me. So I'm naive. I was just like, okay, all right, well, I'll walk with you. And, he was trying to talk. He was like, blah, blah, like I ain't never seen you around here, blah, blah. We exchanged numbers. So we're walking. And then he was like, I'm about to put my stash right here. It was like in this alley. So I was like, all right. So I'm standing at the front of the alley, like, all right, well, go ahead. And I'll be right here. Like, once you put it back there, like, he was like, you being hot. Like, why don't you come back here? Like, you're going to be looking crazy just standing at the front of the alley. Why don't you just come with me? Long story short, my dumb ass follows him in the alley, and he raced me in the alley. So that was really traumatic for me because I don't know. I blame myself. Like, I'm just going to put it out there. We just going to dump out there. I'm not even going to ease into it. Like, even to this day, I feel like it was my fault.
How?
Okay, I know. And this is kind of gets into our different views and stuff. I feel like even though in these instances, these men were completely wrong. You should never touch a female. You should never take anybody's, and mind you, I was a virgin. Like, so you just shouldn't violate a female in that way. So I get it that they were wrong, but at the same time, like, I feel like I should have used a little bit more common sense. I didn't know him. I'm under the influence because I'm high, and I'm like literally walking with this dude home that I have no clue who the hell he is, even though apparently I found out later on that he attended my high school, but I didn't know who he was. But I'm just walking with him, and I was walking with him, like I went in the alley with him. And then I don't know. That's just my feelings. That's how I feel. I just feel like I should have used some better judgment.
How old were you?
I was a freshman in high school, so what's that, 13, 14? 13-ish, 14? You still get my life together. Shut up.
My daughter is 11 years old, and my daughter don't have no fucking common sense. And I don't think that she's going to just gather a whole bunch of them in 3 years. Love her to death, but no. I don't. I hate that. Listeners, I'm just finding out that this motherfucker knew the person that did this to Dice. Because another quick backstory, the way that we actually bonded was by telling these stories to each other in a club on some drunk shit.
That gotta be some drunk shit.
Yes, we were definitely drunk in the club. Everybody else is partying. We sitting off on the corner like, for real? Oh my God.
Just probably looking at us like, what the hell are they talking about over there?
Doing the most.
Right.
But I hate that you feel that way because, like, obviously I don't know, because I'm thinking about me as a weed smoker in high school. Like I said, I skipped school for the sole purpose of smoking weed. And I went over some dude's house, not even really knowing him that well. And, luckily, when I looked at him and I was just like, nigga, I'm high, not drunk. Like, in his mind, I guess it must have clicked like, nah.
All right.
But to me, it's just like, if it's a group of people, you're going to automatically, you may not have known him, but like your friends did. So you're thinking he's cool, based off of them.
Right. And of course, which is kind of embarrassing, especially in high school. It doesn't take much to be embarrassed in high school. But long story short, my parents did find out about this situation because I don't know if anyway, so after the whole thing happened, I'm crying. I'm devastated. I forgot that I was actually supposed to go home early after school because my parents had some errands to run. So, like, they were kind of pissed because they were just like, where the hell have you been? And they were actually driving. When I was walking home after the whole thing happened, my parents were actually about to drive up to the school. So they saw me and was like, yo, get in the car. Like, they, like, cussing me out. Like, we been waiting for you. And, like, blah, blah. Like, going in. And I'm just zoned out. And I'm just, like, looking out the window because I'm traumatized. I'm still high. I'm just trying to wrap my head around everything that just happened. And I didn't say anything immediately. We, like, literally, where they had to go was maybe, like, 40 minutes away. So we finally get there. And when I get out the car, like, I just throw up. And I don't know if it's from the weed. I don't know if it's from, like, just the stress of everything. And they're looking at me like, bitch, what is wrong with you? And so then I tell them what happened. Of course, they're fucking livid because, like, I literally wait until, like, as an adult now, I think about it and I would be pissed too. Like, why didn't you tell me as soon as it happened? Because we just could have circled the block and got this dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or something. Or called the police and they could have got, or something. You know what I mean? But, like, I don't know. But we actually went to the police station. We had to do all that dramatic stuff with the rape kit and filed the police report. And that's how I actually found out that he actually was enrolled in my high school, which they put I guess a restraining order. So he couldn't actually go to my school anymore. And I actually, I didn't even tell you this part. Well, no, I'm not sharing that part. I'm not sharing that part.
I thought we were friends.
No, we are. Look, we obviously were drunk when we shared this story, so I don't remember how much I went into
telling
this.
You all the.
No, but I feel like I told you this part. And then like I was at the mall, City Place back in the day, like when we were in high school.
You told me this broccoli says no at Grits and Biscuits.
Yeah, like we were at that's because it was right by City Place, so it probably made me remember it. But we were at City Place. And we were walking around because, like, that was the hot spot where kids would hang out, hook school, and go there and whatever. But, like, me and my friends, we were at City Place, and I actually seen him. And, like, I was literally paralyzed. And I'm not a scary person. Like, I'm just like, yo, I'm not scared of no person, blah, blah. But, like, literally when I saw him, I was, like, shook. And so my friends was like, what's wrong? And I was like, that's him. And they was like, come on, well, let's tell mall security. So we went to mall security, and of course they called the cops, and I think he was gone by then or whatever. But yeah, that was the last time I heard or seen from him. But my school was notified because he went to our school. And I don't know if our administration or maybe just my close friends, because I was out of school for like a couple of days after it happened. But I feel like I came back to school, and maybe it was just the teenager, I'm being extra, but it felt like everybody knew. Like, people were, and that's at that time, like, I wasn't really sad and crying because, like I said, I have always felt like I blame myself. So people were like crying and like, oh my God, I'm so sorry this happened to you, like blah blah. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, it was fucked up, but like y'all straight, like, please don't make a big scene about it. And you know, it was embarrassing to me, like, not on some, like, everybody was making fun of me, but just that people knew or whatever. But, yeah, that's my story. But I just think that shaped me kind of who I am now because, like, even to this day, I'm not a real touchy and feely, huggy person. Luckily, that doesn't bother my husband. But, like, I don't like the long periods of cuddling and, like, all of that stuff. Like, even with my kids, like, I'll kiss you and hug you, but after I'm like, yeah, can you please, like, can you stop laying on me? Can you stop touching me? And, like, I'm no psychiatrist. I'm not, but I'm sure that has to stem some kind of, and along with that, my parents really weren't touchy-feely when showing affection, but I can't do it.
Did you ever go to therapy for that?
So after the whole situation with the cops, they tried to force me to be into some therapy, and I had to go to like 2 or 3 sessions. And of course, I'm stubborn, so when I'm sitting there talking, they was just asking me about how I feel, and I was just like, I'm fine, I'm good. I just wanted to get it over with, and I thought I was good, and I honestly tell you, I was fine, and I don't think I showed any instances of having any, like, problems. I don't want to say problems because I don't have problems, but like anything where it scarred me until later on in my adulthood. I was with my best friend. We were out at Adams Morgan, and we were drunk. And we were waiting for our friend to pull the car around, and it was an alley where we were standing at waiting for our friend to pull out because so they would know where to pull the car because the garage used to be super freaking packed by Adams Morgan. And like, I don't know, but in my drunken state, I don't know what kind of flashback I had, but I literally had a meltdown and was crying, talking about, get me out this alley, like, get me out the alley. And my best friend at the time, well, not best friend at the time because she's still my best friend, but she was just like, she was confused on what was going on, but she's a sweetheart, so she consoled me. It's like, it's okay, it's fine, we're here, I'm here. Like, and the next day we kind of talked about it. She was like, dog, I don't know what the hell happened. Like, what was that about? And I actually had to explain to her that I was raped in high school and it was in an alley. So I guess that was some type of flashback. But besides that, like, I don't feel like I've had any effects in my life.
Okay. So you tell me the story. I remember that part in the club. You were telling me that's how your best friend found out or whatever. So, I mean, I love therapy. I think that therapy is everything because a bitch be like, I don't think we know how much our past influences our current,
present and future.
Yes,
right.
Our present. I really don't think we get that. So like when you say like you're not like super duper affectionate, I mean maybe you wouldn't have been super duper affectionate anyway. At this point we don't know.
Right.
But the fact that you never went, like you never even got the opportunity to explore that.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you saw my Facebook post today, but I literally posted something today like,
what you say?
I need these bitches to go to fucking therapy. I'm tired of seeing their daddy issues on Facebook. Fucking go to therapy, ho. I'm tired of seeing that shit.
Yeah,
post your big head ass kids, and that's it. That's all I want to see.
Why they kids got had big heads?
Oh, nigga, all these kids got big heads. What you mean? My daughter had big as shit.
I was just about to say my son had big as I don't know what I posed, but a hot mess. But yeah, I guess you're right. Like, I'm not opposed to therapy. I just think at this point, like,
no, you can still get that. You know, it's crazy. And this is why I think that I feel like people avoid talking about the things that probably they should talk about, because like I've been to therapy a whole lot. I've never sat and talked about my mom the way that I probably need to talk about my mom. Just like I know that, I mean, premarital counseling wouldn't have been the right time, but you have at least done premarital counseling.
Yeah.
And you didn't talk about it then, I'm assuming.
No, hell no.
Right.
Not in them, from them church people. They're like this, ooh, run, sir. You don't want to marry her. She's damaged goods. Get out of here. No. But my husband, them
niggas in the church be raping people. The fuck you?
Oh, look. That's a lot. Look.
Hold on.
But yeah, me and my husband had talked about that. We talked about our past when we were dating and engaged and stuff. So it's not that he didn't know about it, because he knew. We've talked about it, but
I'm just saying, like, you've not. It's not like you've never been to some type of therapy, right?
Right.
And it never came up. And I feel like, not to stereotype, but Black people know what's up. Like, our people are not like therapy friendly. We just feel like Black people feel like we can just pray some shit away.
Like, we'd be good. I'm straight. I'm resilient.
Which is obviously not been working in the Black community, motherfuckers. Stop that shit. Take your ass to therapy. Motherfucking find a way. Nigga.
Right.
Go ahead and do a GoFundMe so you can get a session on 3.
Oh, no.
Nah.
GoFundMe for my counseling session.
I seen some shit on Facebook today, and I'm not judging, because I got some shit with me still that I need to work on. But it was just like, bitch, you need to be on somebody's couch. Like, this is not it. So, anywho. So, now that we've told y'all our personal experiences, I want to talk about Bill Cosby. I just want to jump right into the shit.
Okay.
Because I know that was the topic that you and I had discussed, which is where I kind of felt like, bitch, I don't understand.
All right.
I don't understand how you could feel this way. So, and I'm bringing him up because last week he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years. And I've seen a lot of different opinions. It's very much the opposite side of the fence. People are either like, all right, we'll get his ass out of here. And other people are just like, that nigga's old. That shit happened a long time ago. Fuck out of here. So, what are your thoughts, Dice?
Okay, so I'm sure I'm one of them people that y'all probably gonna listen and be like, oh, I can't stand this bitch. But anyway, I feel like, okay, so I'm thinking of this time when all of this, I'm assuming, happened. And let me just be clear. I don't know all the specifics. I'm not a lawyer. I wasn't following a case. So if I get some of these detail wrongs, fuck you. I'm just trying to paraphrase on what the fuck I know. I'm talking about the listeners, not you. So what I know is that back in the day, he was having people over. He was drugging these joints and apparently raping them or whatever. So my whole thought is, me going through something, not like that because I wasn't drugged by the person, but If I have been sexually assaulted by somebody and I know that that person sexually assaulted me, I cannot imagine in my lifetime ever going and dilly-dallying and hanging out with you multiple times after that. Like, I know at that time, like, it was a drug culture and people was popping whatever they was called, because they wasn't Molly's back then. I know people was snorting coke and all that other stuff. So niggas was in the drugs heavy. I'm not condoning what he did, because I'm not if he did, because he was convicted of it. So he did it and it was foul as fuck. But as someone who went through that, I don't understand the victims thinking of, okay, this person did this to me and violated me. Not only, even though I've now recently heard that some people actually did bring it up at that time, but so many people didn't bring it up for so many years later to come forth. I can't wrap my head around it. That's just like if I went through what I went through in high school and now at this age, I'm like, you know what? I'm pressing charges. Like, bitch, what? Ma'am, what?
What time period are you talking about?
I'm assuming this was in like the 70s.
Okay. And that's kind of where I thought you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, what he got convicted of
Mm-hmm.
actually happened in 2004. I don't think a lot of people realize that,
Mm-hmm.
because definitely a lot of women came out and spoke out about situations that happened in the 70s, the 80s, and the very early 90s.
Right.
But what he actually got convicted for happened in the 2000s. So
Okay,
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't following this shit. Like, I don't, stuff like that. I'm not really interested in tracking the day to day, but like just from the articles and stuff that I ran across, or even some of the posts, which you can't believe everything on social media, but just the stuff that I was seeing, I'm just like, really? Like, I don't know the situation, what happened in 2000, you said in 16? Oh, 6, you said? I don't.
4.
Oh,
I think
2004.
that's what I've read.
Yeah, I don't even know what that instance was, but for the ones that I heard where they were actually drugged and raped by him, but still like going to his house afterwards, I don't understand that.
It was a lot of women, though. I don't think all of the women were still hanging out with him. And I don't know for sure, because I think I followed it a bit more closely than you. But
what happened with this case, this more recent one that he got convicted on?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know the specifics. Because I was on like this Black Panther shade path, and so I actually had to take a step back. And so I do not watch the news, and I actually try to avoid all things that even I feel like would trigger me. So I haven't actually even been following the Bill Cosby case that closely.
Right.
What I do know, though, is that I remember people saying like stuff like, "Oh, why these bitches just coming out now to talk about Bill Cosby raping them?" Right. And I remember me looking it up just really briefly, and some women actually reported him in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah,
but at that point, he was motherfucking Cliff Huxtable. Like,
so
that nigga was really untouchable. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was really fucking with him. And so when people were saying like it's crazy he's getting convicted for something that happened decades ago, I remember just reading something about it not being what happened in the 80s and the 90s, but it being something that happened in the early 2000s. But I don't know specifically
what the details were.
So
okay.
We are ignorant listeners.
I was about to say, educate me, because like I said, I don't want to be making assumption off of limited information, but
I got the iPad, right? The iMac if I need to.
But yeah, I'm just basing my opinion off the bits and pieces of information that I know. But if something else was going on, then, and at the end of the day, like, I'm not trying to make any excuses. I'm not saying that, because he's old, that he shouldn't get punished. Like, the nigga raped him. He was wrong. He shouldn't be drugging people. He shouldn't be taking anybody's ass without consent. It is what it is. My only question, in my opinion, that I'm sure is against popular belief and opinion, is like, I just didn't understand that portion. But apparently that isn't even what he was convicted for. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a 2004. Just real quick, I haven't even clicked on any articles, but it says 2004 rape, and then another article says 2004 sex assault case. So I'm not even sure if he raped someone or if he just like drugged them or whatever the case may be. But I mean, so I just want to put that out there because
Right.
I've seen a lot of posts where people are talking about the 80s and the 90s, and it's like,
And they might just be ignorant to the fact, just like me, because like I say, I didn't even know. Like, but at the same time, I haven't been researching or digging into try to even know, because like I haven't been following it.
right. So, oh, I'm trying to. How do we get there? So, what is if your parents had not seen you walking down the street? Let's say that they weren't looking for you, and you went home. Would you have told your parents that you got raped?
No. Nope.
Ma'am.
No, I'm being 100% honest. No.
Okay.
The only reason why I told them is because they was pressing me out on why I just threw up just now, and
do
why
you
I was
think
looking
that
crazy.
you would have ever told them, or
no?
So that's what frustrates me so much about when we were talking about this Bill Cosby thing, because I remember you saying like, I can't believe that, because I think at the time it was like 17 women that had came out to say something about Bill Cosby.
Right.
And you were just like, all of a sudden, like 17 women are saying Bill Cosby got raped. But I know from the people that I know, like, they still haven't told their parents or the cops or anything. Like, they've confided in like me or their best friends or their best cousin or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And I think that was what frustrated me so much about our conversation, because I didn't even know the whole everything that you're telling me to even today about like your parents like seeing you walking. But I do know that when we had that little kumbaya session in the club, you were saying like a lot of people didn't even know that about you.
Right.
So it's not like something that you are very like public about.
Yeah, this is the first time that I'm like, I'm putting it out there to the masses, pretty much.
So it's kind of weird for me. It was weird because it's just like, well, why don't you?
And I think that's why I was saying in the beginning, like, I'm weird with how I feel about it, or I'm not even going to say weird because I don't feel like I'm weird, but I'm, as being somebody that went through that, I don't have the same feelings or maybe thoughts about it that maybe somebody else that went through it, like, if that makes sense.
What are your thoughts about it? Let's break it down.
Thoughts about what? Bill Cosby or me?
No, Bill Cosby, that situation, like, because that was the conversation that we had some time ago.
I mean, I feel like some of them instances, like, I feel like the same way towards them that I feel about myself. Like, I feel like they kind of
put themselves in that situation.
They could have used a little bit more common sense. I'm sorry.
Gonna punch you in the mouth. What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. You asked my opinion, and I'm not even just saying them. Like, I feel the same way about myself. So I'm not saying
want you to change your opinion. I'm just gonna be dead ass, and the listeners will probably be mad at me.
No, they're probably gonna be mad at me. I know our comments gonna be lit up, but I mean, I just feel like on certain.
We got like 2 followers. I'm sorry. I love y'all. No, I don't want you to blame yourself, just like I don't want any of these women to blame themselves. Like,
I'm not trying to say that we should project all of the blame. That's not what I'm saying. None of people who been through this should we be like, oh, I was dumb. Like, I shouldn't have did X, Y, Z, especially in your situation. No, on some of these instances, like some of these instances where like I'm sitting here with somebody and like I don't know this person from Adam, and I'm doing mind altering things, whether it's weed or cocaine or whatever. And then like, you're kind of, I don't know, like just, you're putting yourself in a situation. Like, is this a crowd? Like, you're all by yourself? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it's your fault, but at the same time, it's like, we got to be more mindful as women and men, because boys go through it too. Like, of what situations that you put through. I mean, and everybody, we had this conversation before and we agreed then to disagree, and we're going to do it again on this podcast. But like I said, I know a lot of people are not going to be happy with my thoughts about it, but that's why I said I'm kind of unique, because like I've actually been through this too, and I still feel that way. I'm
emotional. And I've been drinking, so I'm like tearing up because for
what? You're not gonna be crying on the damn podcast.
I probably am, like, by the end of this, because no, bitch, you know this is a topic that, like, when we even said we were talking about this topic, I was like, yes, bitch, like,
and I was like, oh, Lord.
Right, like, I'm all the way for real. I just feel like I don't feel like we should have to govern ourselves in that way. I really don't. And not to say that men don't, because I know people in my family, men that have been sexually assaulted and raped by other men. Right. So I'm not saying it's not a man problem as well. I just feel like women in general, like one day I was coming home late and I asked Mar to take the dogs outside to go pee or whatever. And she told me like some grown ass man came up to her and was like, "Oh, what kind of dog is Chloe?" And da 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 da. And after that, I was just like, "Oh, them motherfuckers can poop and pee in the house. Like if I'm that late and they just have to poop and pee in the house, I'll just clean it up because like you're not fucking going outside anymore." Because in my mind, I think about me. Yeah. I think about being sexually assaulted at 5. I think about being raped at 22, 23 years old. Like, in my mind, that's what I think about. And that is legit my number one fear. My number one fear is that my daughter will be sexually violated in some kind of way.
I will go to fucking jail.
Like, hands down. It's not even...
I just want you to know.
I do not feel like there's any fucking way that you could tell me that you were at fault for what happened to you, like, because, and I'm thinking about it like me, because I know, again, we both were smoking, and if I was with my friend from elementary school and my then best friend, and it was a random nigga there, I would still feel like that random nigga was cool, because, like, why else are we all smoking together? Like, right. You know what I'm saying? So I could see somebody being like, "Oh, you walking this way? All right, let's walk." Like, I just... And then for the age that you're talking about and having a child that's only 3 years younger than that age, it baffles my mind. And knowing the amount of women I know that have been raped and sexually assaulted and until to this day have not even told like their mother or even their spouses. I know some people that haven't even told their spouses that happened to them. And so I just cannot wrap my mind around any woman feeling like it was their fault. And it's bullshit to me because we govern our daughters in a way. Like, we tell our daughters to make sure they're present when they're walking down the street and not to do this at night and not to dress like this. But we don't give that same type of energy to our sons. And we need to be telling these sons to keep their fucking dick to themselves.
I was just about to say, I feel like a lot of not the problem is, but how are we teaching our sons and our daughters? You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we always telling our daughters on what to do, but like we don't really have and I'm not going to say, maybe there's some good fathers and mothers out there that are doing this, but for the general population, I don't think we're going as deep into it with our sons. But please, honey, please know and believe. I and my husband will definitely be talking to my son just as in depth that we talk to our daughter, especially the age of my daughter now, because this is close to the age when I was molested in elementary school. So I'm not having it. So it's certain talks that I have with her, and I try to keep it real light, but I also want to make sure that she's comfortable enough where she knows that she can talk to me about anything. You won't get in trouble. I don't give a fuck who threatens you. You tell mommy every fucking thing. I don't give a damn what nobody says, because the same dude not the same dude, but the dudes did this shit to me. Don't say nothing to your mother because I'm hurt them, blah. Nah, ain't nobody hurting mommy. I will go in. Like, you tell me if anything happens. So I'm trying to instill in her at a young age, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm raising a young man to know that no means no, my G. Like, you need to give people boundaries. You need to get permission for stuff. It's just certain things that I want to teach my son so that he doesn't grow up to be in a situation where he becomes a sexual deviant, or like put in a situation where he thought a girl said yeah and nah, she was saying no. Like, I want it to be very clear. Don't even put yourself in those situations where you could find it like, well, which it scares me because the way the law is and the way stuff is now, like when we read the definition about consent, it makes me have so many questions about just like, can you even give consent when you're drunk? Like, say you're drunk at a party and the girl says yes, but she's drunk and she doesn't realize she says yes, and then wakes up in the morning and is like, nah, you raped me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm scared of stuff like that, because then it's a word, your word against his, and 9 times out of 10 they're gonna believe her word, and here you are like, well, no, she told me yeah, like, but she's drunk. So it's like, I just want you to stay away from drunk sex altogether. How about that? I don't know. Like, all of that scares me, knowing what I've been through and people that I'm close to have been through. Like, I want to make sure that I prep my son just as much as I prep my daughter. I don't think we're doing that now.
I'm hella emotional right now.
I need you to get your life.
It's just like today, like, no lie, Mara asked me what she should do if, let's say, she's walking to or from the house to the bus stop and somebody tries to do something. She was like, should I hit them with my saxophone? I was like,
wait a minute, she asked you that out of the blue?
Out of the fucking blue.
I mean, did something happen? And she's like trying to put it in a hypothetical like type question, or like?
Well, and it did come from me. What I had said, it was crazy. I was walking the dogs, and these two dudes were just like walking around the neighborhood, and I'm gonna admit, like, they look weird. Like, I never seen them, and not that I know every motherfucker that's in my neighborhood, but like, I never seen them.
They just look out of place.
They looked out of place. The shit looked sketchy. And so when we were leaving, I saw them walking again, and I was like, yo. And I said it out loud, and I was just like, these motherfuckers are weird. She was like, why? And I was like, because I seen them walking around the neighborhood, and like, why the fuck are they still walking around the neighborhood? It's been like 2 hours since before, and they're just still walking. And she was like, oh, I see them sometimes. And I was like, when? And she was saying sometimes in the morning. And I didn't say anything else. I took a mental no, but I didn't say anything else. And so after that, that's when she was like, so what should I do if something happens? Should I hit them with my instrument? And I was like, I'm not going to say only hit them with your instrument. You should do whatever the fuck you have to do to get the fuck out of that situation.
Right.
If somebody is approaching you, if somebody looks weird, you feel uncomfortable, I was like, the first thing you need to do is call me, call your father, call your stepfather, call anybody in your phone. Pretend that you're on the phone with somebody. And I told her, I was like, you make eye contact with that motherfucker. You let them know that you see, you see them. You know what I'm saying? Don't put your head down, because that's what she said. She was like, should I put my head down? Hell no. You put your head the fuck up and let him know,
I see
I'm not
you.
with the shit.
Right.
But it's just like, it made me so upset. And knowing that we were going to have this conversation later, it's just,
it sucks that you even have to have these type of conversations.
And period. I feel like I'm having this conversation a lot earlier than my mom had the conversation with me. Like, of course, my mom asked me, like, make sure that I knew, like, no one was supposed to touch me in certain areas. Even though at that point, when she got the conversation, I had already been violated, because I got molested at 5. So, you know, happened kind of early.
Right.
But like I said, my number one fear is that somebody will violate my daughter, because what can I fucking do? Like, when the motherfucking white dude in California thought he was going to be funny and call her Shaniqua, I checked him and his mama.
Yeah, I remember that.
I can handle shit like that. What can I do about sexual assault or rape? Like, that's some shit that sticks with you for a long time, even if you don't know it. And just the thought of it is just...
Yeah. I 100% get it.
And I don't have a son, but even with your boys, you have to make sure that they're not being violated. And I think because we put so much emphasis on our daughters,
that we forget about our sons.
We forget about our sons. We don't realize that they're going through it too. I have male people, like I said earlier, there are males in my family that have been violated in that way, and they don't even talk about it because they don't want anybody to think that they're less of a man, when in actuality they had no say so in it. They had no fucking say so in the situation. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make them, because they definitely feel like it makes them look gay, as if gay is a bad thing. Right. But it has nothing to do with their preferred sexuality, and it doesn't mean that they asked for it. And that's why it just breaks my heart that you feel like you should have had more common sense, because I'm thinking about myself when I was 14, and I'm thinking about my daughter. And I know that if we were in a group setting, we would have probably done the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't explain it. That's just how I feel. That's how I've always felt.
That's so sad.
I'm good.
It's sad for me. It's sad for me. I know that you're like, I'm good, but I'm just saying for me, it just breaks my heart. Like, I was on, it's crazy because this past weekend, I saw, let me pull it up because the bitch got notes this week.
Official as a whistle out here.
There was a hashtag going on, hashtag why I didn't report. And it was just all these girls and these women saying why they didn't report things that happened to them. And one of them was, because when I was 4, I did report and went to trial, and I broke down on the stand testifying against my own father while his lawyer called me a liar. He was not convicted. Every time I was assaulted after that, I knew there was no point. Hashtag why I didn't report ever again. And it fucking broke my heart because people are getting fucking assaulted and raped by their family members.
Yeah.
You know, it's
happened a lot more. It's a lot more common.
It actually happens more from people that you know than it happens from people that you fucking don't know.
For sure.
And it just and then there was another post that I saw, and her post was sad as fuck, but the comments underneath her picture pissed me off because her name on Twitter, her Twitter handle was whatever, but then you know how you have your Twitter handle and then you have your name.
Yeah.
And so her name was Thought Girl Meg. And people were legit saying, well, I mean,
because of her name?
Legit.
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
And my original major was psychology, and I know your major was psychology as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, anybody with any kind of psychology, anything background would know, like, she may be out here calling herself a thought because of her fucking sexual assault. So the fact that y'all are fucking in the comments coming at her like she shouldn't be sharing her experience because her fucking Twitter name, which is not fucking real life,
right?
It's Thought Girl Meg. It's like this is also a reason why people don't report, because y'all are judging her off of her Twitter name, and her Twitter name probably has nothing to do with her real life.
And it makes it so rough now that we're in an age with social media where, like, you can pretty much be condemned without, like, people knowing you, people knowing your story, and
guilty
like people
until proven innocent.
Look, people are hella harsh, and the trolls are real. So you can be out here and like being 100% truthful, trying to put your truth out there, and you have people out there that their daily aim is just to tear people down, and they will be on these posts like going in. And I'm so glad that I grew up in a time where we didn't have that. So I just really, I feel for my children coming up in this time. Like, any small thing could happen. They catch you on video, it's a wrap. Like, it's being posted everywhere. It's being texted everywhere. So yeah, that's sad as hell, bro.
So, another thing that I've been seeing floating around on social media is like a lot of people saying, you know, okay, y'all convicted Bill Cosby. Y'all need to convict this person and that person and that person and this person. And all those persons have been white.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you remember the show? Remember the show that I think came on Bravo, and it had that girl Daisy on there that ended up getting cancer and dying?
Yes. I know what you're talking about. The girls in New York.
Sweat and Hill.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and had Melissa Ford and all them on there.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So one of the chicks I follow on Facebook, and she put out something, and it's basically just saying like you can be anti racial bias, and you can also be like anti-sexism, whatever. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people saying like y'all need to keep the same energy with Weinstein and da 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 da. And I'm not. And so my standpoint with this is that like there is an issue with the biases that occur in the criminal justice system. Definitely. I'm not taking that away. I think that it's fucked up that Bill Cosby is in jail and all these other motherfuckers who
is free and ain't been convicted.
They're free as fuck.
and it's been put out there.
It's been put out there.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like that's fucked up, but I want everyone, for me, I need people to understand that these are two different issues.
Like, and wrong is wrong at the end of the day.
Okay, thank you. Like, rape and sexual assault is still wrong. Right. And I don't know if black people want Bill Cosby to be free because the white people are free. I also feel like I think black people are fucking lit, and so I don't feel like why would we want to be held at the same standard as them? Like, and I feel bad saying this because we both have white listeners that are loyal and they love us, and I love y'all.
And I love you too, boo. You my bae. I know you're
But
listening.
I still just feel like if I knew a nigga was just flat out wrong, I wouldn't fucking hold my standard to him. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like I would still want to be better because that's just me.
No, that
So
makes
I don't
sense.
feel like Bill Cosby should be free because Weinstein is free or this motherfucking bitch Kavanaugh or whatever the fuck.
Oh, that's on trial now. Not really on trial, but going through that hearing.
Like, so I just feel like a lot of people on social media are basically saying like Bill Cosby should be free because these other people are free, and then that ties into I guess maybe low key I'm a feminist because I feel like people just shit on women, and I don't understand like why our violations don't get treated in the same way as men because men are out here getting shot by cops and women are riding for them even if they're rapists, even if they're fucking convicts and criminals, like we're
Mm-hmm.
still riding for them to the fullest. And I would
Mm-hmm.
love for people to ride for us. And
Right.
so if Bill Cosby was out here drugging motherfuckers with the pills in the pudding or whatever the fuck it was, and then sticking his dick in their mouth, I need motherfuckers to understand that he's not Cliff Huxtable,
That is
and
fictitious.
it's yeah. So
Yeah.
that's where I stand with it. I get where you come from. Like you have a son, and so you don't want your son to be in a situation where he could be accused of something
Mm-hmm.
that he didn't necessarily do or didn't understand wasn't consent. Do you remember the what the fuck was the movie called? It was the Nat Turner movie that came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
Do you remember the case? Like it came up when the movie was coming out. The guy that was playing Nat Turner, his college shit came up where basically he had been involved in a situation where a woman was trying to say he raped her,
Mm-mm,
and
I don't
he was
remember that.
saying, "Oh yeah, it was this whole big thing where like she accused him of rape." But he was saying no, it was consensual. But she was saying I was too drunk to consent, and so he actually ended up being free. But to this day, she's just like, no, I feel like that's bullshit.
Wow. It was it was some years ago. Like it was an instance where it was on a college campus where a girl was saying like these black dudes from a sports team had raped her and come to find out she was lying. It's like stuff like that that stresses me
Sure.
the heck out. You know what I mean? Like it's like it makes it bad for those who are telling the truth and are being brave enough to tell their story, and then you have some people out here that's just like lying. Like you really ruined somebody's whole life, like
Right.
lying about some stuff like that. So yeah, I forgot what the whole instance was, what school that was, but she definitely lied and it ended up coming out. Or I think she ended up and finally admitting that it wasn't true, or they didn't rape her, or I don't know what it was. Maybe it was consensual, maybe it didn't happen. I don't really remember the details, but yeah, I just
And the fuck is happening here?
all right. We're back. Had a little had a little something going on, but we're good. Having technical difficulties. It's life. But yeah, I just yeah, this whole topic, and I just wanna. It scares me having a son and a daughter and having to be able to prep them to go into the world with all of this. One more thing. One more thing.
No, I feel you. I saw something today, where a chick was saying that she had sex with someone and consented,
Mm-hmm.
but didn't want to consent. And
Hmm?
she consented because she felt like she had to consent, but
Uh-uh.
she didn't really want to. And so she was like, "But I don't consider it rape." And everybody in her comments were like, "No, this is rape. This is rape." And the person that posted this was a man, and so he was like, "Nah, this is dangerous. This is dangerous."
Man.
And so I don't know where I lie with situations like that because I know that as a teenager, I remember hanging out with this one girl, and she was a flat out hoe. And so we had went over again. We had went over somebody's house to smoke, and she
Mhm.
was fucking. I
Mhm.
wasn't fucking. I was just trying to smoke or whatever.
Right.
And so the dude, I guess he expected to get some or whatever, and I was just like, nah. I mean, you want me to put $10 on the weed though? Because I'm like, for real, not fucking you. Like, I hope you don't think that I'm paying for this weed or pussy, because that's what she's here for. I'm legit just here to smoke.
Right.
So I don't. That's why I was like, I feel conflicted because I could understand where someone may feel that way, where like they have to have sex in a situation, even though they're not like 100% down with it. I don't know.
That's touchy. Like yeah, I don't know. I feel like that comes to an instance where you within yourself and how we raise our daughters that like you just have to speak up. Like don't ever feel like you have to do something that you don't want to do. If it makes you uncomfortable, then no. Like no, don't consent to something or say okay, I guess. Like if you're not comfortable and you're not fucking with it because then it puts you in these type of situations where you're going through the motions and involved in something that you really don't want going on. You don't want this person on you, in you, whatever. And like, nah, that's not cool.
And sons, little boys, don't nobody have to give y'all pussy for nothing. Y'all are not
Mm-mm.
old vagina.
At
Okay?
all.
I
At
just,
all.
we just gotta raise, I just feel like a lot of emphasis gets placed on our daughters and how they carry themselves and how they dress and how they act. And I would just love for that same energy to be put into our sons as well.
Definitely. I agree. We got to make sure that we teach them that no and stop are very important words to be honored out here.
Yeah, and if it's just like you said, it's touchy with the drinking aspect because if you're drunk and she's drunk, then both of y'all are not in the right frame of mind to be making the best
And it's
decisions. And
scary because
so,
if you get blasted and then you get into play where like, well, I don't remember that, or did you say, or I don't know. It's just like, yo, just don't drink and have sex. Like, please don't. Wait till you're married and
but
it'll be lit. But I can't. Like,
but realistically, can we tell our children that knowing that
no,
we
we
didn't do
can't. But
that?
all we can do is give them the tools to just make good decisions. Like honestly, like I wish I could be a freaking hoverer and be invisible and save them from everything, but realistically, we can't.
We can't.
Like all we can do is try to give them the foundation and the tools to like when they get put in situations or to how to handle it or to not put themselves in situations for stuff to happen. So as long as we just emphasize, especially with us in our background, just teaching them and reinforcing stuff, keeping up the avenues of communication, honestly, because a lot of times, even if something happens, like with me, like I couldn't even imagine I'm 80 and then not knowing that something happened to my daughter all these years. Like I know how I would feel. So yeah, just opening up the lines of communication and making sure that we reiterate to them. Just yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted not to like get too deep into this topic, pause,
Hmm.
but the whole Kavanaugh, I think that's how his last name is
Yeah,
pronounced.
I don't Brent, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his last
Yeah,
name.
like with the lady who came forward and said that like he tried to rape her in the 80s, of course people have been like, why is she just bringing this up now?
Hmm.
But during this investigation, the lawyers actually were able to extract some of the notes from the therapist that she had seen during her marriage counseling in 2012. And
Mm.
like this shit is still affecting her. And so
Wow.
when people get into this whole like, why is she just bringing it up now? I don't think they realize like the type of effect this has on people moving forward. Like even the two dudes that were walking in the neighborhood today, they could legit just live in this neighborhood and they could just be fucking walking enjoying the fucking weather. But
Right.
because I've been in situations and I know enough women that have been in those situations, I
Your
just think,
antennas are up and you on alert.
yeah, and I don't know if people understand that. Like it's a real fucking thing. And it for some people they are not able to just get over it like that. For some
Right.
people it sticks with them forever and it affects their relationships down the line. And that's my only thing. Like people go through shit that traumatizes them, and I don't even know if they understand that it does. I feel like sometimes they become so desensitized that they don't get it, and they
Right.
don't really understand the magnitude of what happened to them.
Yeah, I can agree. I feel like I yeah, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I know, kind of staying in the same topic, but kind of veering off a little bit. When Tamar was on the Wendy Williams show, she recently revealed that she was molested as a child by a family member, which is crazy. I wonder how Miss Evelyn feels about that, or if
She
she,
probably denied it.
yeah, girl, you lying like,
You
but yeah,
never
that's
told me
tough,
that.
right? Yeah, that's rough. But
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of the day, like I know it sounds super, super cliche, but um, no means no. And like if you're not sure, then just take that as a no.
The
Like,
black ass bottom line.
right. For sure. And a lot of times we see hurt people. You know what I mean? Like you might have somebody that had been through some stuff when they was younger and then turn around and do something to
Repeat the same
somebody else.
behavior.
Yep. And
Yep.
they repeat what they know or they're acting out subconsciously or whatever. But at the end of the day, we need to
Oh,
teach our children. Mm-hmm.
did you see that episode of Iyanla
Which one?
where the daughters were getting raped by the brother, and the brother had died because he had some kind of illness,
I
but
think
come to find
so.
out he had been raped by someone in the family too?
Yeah, I think I did see that. That was a hot
Yeah.
mess. Like that was so oof. I saw that.
That's your what you were saying, like hurt people kind of made me
Mm-hmm.
think about that. Like
It's just like a
he
cycle.
learned, yeah, he learned that behavior. He turned around and he did it to his sisters, and then he died. So of course, like his mom, it feels conflicted because
Like
she's
this is
learning that her son was kind of low key a monster, but at the same time, he's
he's
a
dead.
victim
Right.
because
It
he
happened
died
to
from an
him.
illness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's rough.
I probably cried when I watched that because I'm soft as shit.
Yeah. It's yeah.
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 I think we're gonna end this topic now because we
Right
saying a
there.
lot of yes.
Yeah. That's how you know we like, all right, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Let's move forward. This is a good little topic. We deep into this one. Pause.
I
We,
know, right?
usually we cut our conversation about an hour into it. So,
Right.
so let's lighten up the mood.
The
So,
shizzle.
what's something that's good that happened in the past week that you want to highlight?
This week. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I got news that I got a raise at my job, baby. So I'm excited
Yeah. Let me get
because
$100.
oh look, it hasn't hit my check yet. Look, it was just announced this week, so it will start accruing now. But yeah, I'm super excited because I'm finally about to start getting compensated for all that I do, and I
Right?
am hype. So that was definitely the highlight of my week. Boop, boop.
Yes. We're doing this the opposite way only because we had such a heavy topic. Usually I want to release the negative first and end on the positive, but since that was a heavy topic, so we
Yeah.
got through the positive. What's
Yes,
the negative thing that happened this past week that you want to let go?
I'm sick.
Oh, that's what you said last week, and I said that
And
that
I'm
was
still sick. And not
no,
only
that
am
was
I
the past
sick,
for last week. No,
my daughter's sick and my son's sick. All three of us are
no,
sick. I
no,
want
no,
to
no,
release this demon of sickness in this
no. You
household.
need to find something different. I told you that last week.
But I thought I was going to be better this week. So I thought I was going to be healed.
So if you get sick at all for the rest of 2018, you can't use that as an excuse. This is it. Your listeners, you hear this shit?
Look,
I'm about to write a note. This bitch cannot use sickness as a
look,
negativity.
I did not plan to be sick, what, all this time? Two
Fuck
weeks in a
out of
row.
here.
Like, that's whack. What about you? Good. Something good that happened this week.
So I actually got a raise too.
Oh, shut up.
It's not no great raise, but it is a raise. And I'm gonna take all these coins. If they want
For
to give me
sure.
a 2 penny raise, I'm gonna be like, all right, bitch, I got a bill for that.
Right.
So
Appreciate
no,
that.
I actually got my little notice today. Like it was like, oh yeah, some new documents have been added to blah blah blah, and I'm like, for what? And I looked and I was like, Oh, look at me. I got a little raise.
Hey, money, money, money. Hey, hey.
Right?
That's
So
lit.
that was good.
And, what was that
My
laugh?
negative is because my negative is going to be a little bit of a, it's not going to be a quick little one sentence thing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, my little brother
Mm-hmm.
birthday was this past Friday.
Okay.
He's turned 13 years old. To put into
Oh,
context how old he is.
just hitting the teen years.
Right. So, again, my daughter is 11. So, my brother, when he was born, he was like my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his mom had to go to Iraq. So, and then at the time, my grandmother was really sick. So, my father was taking care of my grandmother. So, I kind of like was just like, I'll help you with my little brother or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we good. So, a lot of people in the family know, like, my little brother was like my first baby.
Oh.
Um, so I call him and I'm like, I'm turned up like, hey, we 13, we in it. Bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what you doing? He was like, I'm cleaning. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
cleaning
On
on
your
your
birthday? Oh,
birthday?
no.
He was like, yeah, and after that, I'm gonna do homework. I was like,
That's
not
trash.
not only are you cleaning on your birthday, but you about to do homework, and it's Friday, so it's not even like you have to do it today.
By the next day, right? What?
Right. So I was just like, oh, Aaron is trash. Aaron is our father's name, by the way. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, Aaron is trash. Like, what the fuck is going on? So his mother, who is not my mother, because I'm just a hoe.
Yeah.
But she was in the background. She was like, tell your sister why. Tell your sister what happened. So my brother was like, he got suspended.
Oh,
And
no.
so I feel like I'm pretty chill with most things, but like with school, I kind of take it seriously. Like, you shouldn't be out here getting suspended and your grades should be good.
Right.
So I instantly like started chewing him out. And I was just like, what are you doing? You wilding.
Mm-hmm.
So he told me he got suspended because he had sent somebody a threatening message on Instagram and it had come to light. And I kind of spazzed because he had an incident a couple of months ago with his phone. And I was just like, you feeling yourself a bit too much. You need to chill on the phone shit. Like,
Right.
that's not cute.
Mm-hmm.
So his mom got on the phone and told me the situation. And this is why I'm pissed.
Uh-oh.
So he has a neighbor. They're the same age and they used to be friends, but the neighbor, the boy, has been kind of wilding. He's been involved in a lot of drama lately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, the boy himself got suspended just a week before my brother because he fought someone.
Oh, wow.
So I guess the drama ended up at my brother's door or whatever, and his mom, well, so there was an Instagram conversation like in the DMs between my brother and the boy,
Mm-hmm.
and where basically he was just like, "I'll murder you."
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you can't say things like that.
No, 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 baby. You
And
can't.
obviously, we knew "I'll murder you" means like I'll fuck you up.
Right.
But the events that took place afterwards didn't. Let me calm down because I'm gonna get mad before I even get there. So his mom was telling me what ended up happening is that she reached out to the other boy's father and was like, listen, your son has been in a lot of drama lately. Don't bring that shit to my door. So, in retaliation, the father called the police on my brother
Because of the
and
message.
told the police that my brother was threatening to kill his son. So the
Shut.
police show up to my brother's house, had a conversation with my father and his mother, went to the school. The school had no choice but to suspend him for 3 days.
Oh
Even
my
though it's not
God.
going to be on his permanent record.
But
The shit that
still.
pissed me off though is that when they presented the messages on from Instagram, they didn't include all the messages, so they cut and pasted so it looked like my brother was the aggressor
Mm,
and that he was like when in actuality he was defending himself.
right. But
So
because they wanted to be jerks and they was like, oh, okay, well, we got you. Since you
right.
want to come at me, like, that's so, yeah.
So I really try my best not to make things a racial thing, because anybody that knows me personally knows that I did have a Black Panther shade moment where I just was not here for none of the shit.
Right.
And when I heard everything that happened, initially I was like, well, I don't care. AJ still needs to chill on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
But because I was driving at the time, and as I was driving, I got really pissed, because it's like the same way I feel like women shouldn't have to govern themselves to not be raped.
Mm-hmm.
Black people, especially black men, should not be able to not express themselves to defend themselves. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, this motherfucker just got suspended the week before, but you're gonna call the police on my brother to
Right.
make it seem like he's the fucking aggressor when he was defending himself because your son was being a bitch and bringing the drama to him, and my brother is not a bitch and was like, "Oh no, I'm the right one. I'll fuck you up."
Right.
I'm sick to death of white people, and sorry, booze, love y'all, but I'm tired of the rest of these motherfuckers thinking that they're fucking their fucking superhero, their Superman, it's the fucking police, and putting my fucking black people's lives in danger as a
Yeah.
result.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
My brother just turned fucking 13 on Friday, so that means that when the police was called on him, he was 12.
Damn.
Are you fucking kidding me? Because you thought, because they try to paint it like, well, we don't know if he's going to be a threat to the school. He could go to the school and shoot it up. First of all,
Oh
black
my
people don't do
God.
that. And I'm going to just keep it a buck. Black people don't go to the schools and shoot up the motherfucking schools. That's y'all. Don't do that. Don't call the police, because my thing is, as a fucking parent, even if I knew that somebody has sent that message to my daughter, I'm also responsible enough to know if my daughter is wilding. So if my daughter had just got suspended the week before for fighting and had been in several other altercations,
Right.
I'm not going to call the police knowing that my daughter is wrong. I
Right.
may check you and be like, okay, you're contacting me to check for me to check my daughter, but make sure you're handling your kid, because I've seen the messages between you and yours. Because for
Right.
me, if even if my daughter is wrong, bitch, you ain't gonna know. That's between
Right.
her and I.
Let's
So
say what happens in this house.
right. I'm gonna be a united front in front of you, because who
Right.
the fuck are you?
Right.
But I'm gonna check my kid. If that kid was completely fucking innocent, it would be one thing for them to have called the police. But for your fucking child to have been in several different altercations, so much so that the week before he himself was suspended for fighting, for you to think that that was okay to call the police on my brother. Somebody could have called the police on your fucking son for just fighting the week before, but you
Right.
called the police on my son because it's easy to call the fucking police on a black person. And
Yep.
it's sad, because my first thought was I need to tell my brother that he has to watch what he says on the internet. But white people don't watch what the fuck they say on the internet, because I
Never.
done been called any and everything on the fucking internet by these people.
Right.
Y'all got me fucked up. And I'm going to Washington either for Thanksgiving or Christmas. And Mara thinks that that boy's daughter is her friend, but she's not. And I told my daughter, no, no, y'all not friends no more.
No,
Cause she went there this summer,
that's
and
dead.
she was like, no, we're friends. I was like, no, we're
Not
a
no more.
unit. No, ain't
No,
none
no,
of
no
us friends
more.
with nobody. Let these motherfuckers. I'm not my parents. I'm not them. Um, everybody know me. You look at me wrong, you blink at me wrong. If I feel any kind of energy coming from across the street, I'm going off. Because I cannot believe that my little brother has already had to experience
Or running with the police.
a run in with the police when he was actually defending himself. So fuck y'all with a bumpy dick. I'm over y'all. Like, no, I'm not rocking. And I was actually pissed for like a good day and a half, because every time
Yeah.
I would think about it, it was just like, this is crazy. You never think like that would happen to anybody in your family. And I think that my brother be wilding because he's just a boy.
A
He's a
teenager.
teenager.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like he's wilding like on no, like, not wilding on no criminal shit. He's wilding on like girls.
Right.
Like, he don't give a fuck about these dudes out here. His whole thing was just like, don't bring that energy to me. And I feel him, because I'm the same way. Bitch, you can wild out all you want to over there,
Don't bring
but
over here.
what you won't do is bring that here, because I'm not the one. And I feel like that's just in the Tucker genes. The
Right.
fuck. So we already been on this bitch for a long time. So
Oh,
I'm in
look
that
at we.
here.
All right.
I'm gonna let that go for the week. My only thing that I want for this week is just to be happy. I had a good day today. I'm gonna keep that same energy.
Yeah, for this week, I want to actually begin what I said I was going to start 2 weeks ago. And
What's that?
watching my diet, bro. Like we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I ain't
Oh,
started.
I start.
I know you did, and I was quiet when you said you started. I was like, oh, that's what's up. Babe, that's lit. And the whole time I was over here, I done made me some daggone Cajun chicken pasta and can't taste the damn thing because I'm sick. So I done made it in vain. My husband was like, yo, it's bomb. I'm like, okay,
And
well,
you
I'm
don't
glad.
even know.
I don't taste nothing. But yeah, this week I'm actually going to try to be more mindful about what I am consuming. So that's me.
I'm working out this week. Since I got the eating thing down, I'm starting to working out. So
Oh, yeah.
hopefully a bitch won't be fat forever.
I know that's right. Get it. I'm not working out, so I'm not even going to put that in the atmosphere. Maybe later on. Well,
Well,
I guess that's it. That
yeah.
ends episode Nizan.
Nizan.
Don't forget to check us out on Instagram at the Chatty Pattys. Also, we're going to be doing a little question of the day here and there. So you guys come on, stop by and weigh in on our question. Let us know what you think on that specific topic.
And typically we live tweet with the really, really righteous shows.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at the Chatty Pattys on Twitter as well.
Yep, hit us up there. And don't forget to follow and subscribe on YouTube, all that good stuff. And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And
Yes, yes.
we appreciate you guys. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.